Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing really well. Feels like a long time since I've done anything cool toned. I'm a warm toned girl through and through, but I keep seeing this kind of makeup. I've saved loads of stuff like this on Pinterest and I really want to do it. I've got the perfect palette for it as well. I've got the brand new Beauty Bay Smoky palette. If that doesn't make you want to do a cool toned eye, I don't know what will. I've got this cute little flicky 90s bob as well. I feel like it's just the vibes. So I'm going to zoom you in and get going on my skin. I want to keep the skin quite matte, fairly cool toned, not completely cool toned. Never going to do that. I start with the Max Factor Facefinity foundation in the shade Warm Beige. I used this morning for the first time and I'm obsessed with it. The coverage is so amazing. It is a tiny bit light for me at the moment, but I made it work. So I'm going to pop that all over. I've learned that you don't need as much of this as you think. I used way too much earlier. You can always add, but you can't take it away. And then I've got this little brush. This was from the e.l.f. Liquid Death collaboration. Really random collaboration, but the little brush is really good. So you can see, teeny little bit light for me at the moment. I'm still a little bit tan from Dubai, so but I actually feel like sometimes with this look, lighter foundation kind of works. I don't want to look too beachy. I want to look runway. Buffing that in, like, look at the coverage of that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone talk about this foundation, but I'm sure they are because it's brilliant. Just getting that right around the brows. I want to do a slightly skinnier brow today just to really get that 90s vibe. I need to get this foundation in a darker shade. I think for summer, I'm going to absolutely love this. I'm going to highlight underneath my eyes and add a little extra coverage. I'm going to use a mixture of these two. I've got the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer and the Kylie Cosmetics. This is slightly lighter, so it's going to give that real bright under eye. Let's start off with the NARS one. This is the shade Cafe Con Leche? Don't know. Slightly yellower, so it's going to be really brightening still. Building that coverage. You want the skin to be like pretty flawless today. Taking a little sponge, start patting that in. And taking whatever's left on the sponge across the lid. We are going to be doing a pretty heavy eyeshadow look, so I want it to be nice and primed. You know something that just never took off for me? Eyeshadow primer. I don't think I've ever used one and actually seen a difference. I just think concealer is the best thing for that. Okay, I'll take the Kylie Cosmetics in the shade 2W. This is super light, so I'm just going to do a little bit of it, just where I want like super brightness. And I'm actually going to let that sit while I do my brows, just to let it like really marinate. I'm going to take the Isla Brow Styling Wax. I've been using this for a really long time. I think this is my second one now and I really, really like it. So I'm going to just start brushing that through my brows first. I'm going to like push the top down. If you want the skinny brow look without having to commit, this is the best way to do it. And just sort of squeezing the hairs together. But I just want all the hairs sitting in the right place to start with. I've got a really gross spot there. It's really not the time or the place. Something about seeing yourself with like a really skinny brow, it always looks so good, but I know I don't want it. Like I know I don't want this full time, but something about when I see myself with a skinny brow, I'm obsessed with it. Brows are in place enough. We will fill them in after the base is done. I'm going to buff out that concealer now. It's had a little bit of time to sit, so it's going to be super bright. And I'm going to bring that underneath the brow as well, just to make it look even slimmer. I'm going to set my face with the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour Power. This is quite light and I'm just going to do that all over. And then I think I will set pretty much my whole face. I want the skin to be quite matte. I think this would still look really nice with glowy skin, but something about it with really matte skin is just too good. I take the Sephora Powder Foundation in the shade 30, just to like warm my skin up but keep it matte. Because I am starting to look a bit like a ghost at the moment. I know this is going to be a very trust the process situation. Okay, for bronzer, I'm going to go with Benefit Hoola. It was the kind of coolest bronzer I have. It's still not very cool, but I'm not too worried about that. I do like a bronzy skin anyway. Angled brush and start chiseling out my cheekbones a little bit. You know, I always wonder what this is. Like, people always say to me, have you had like eye lift threads or whatever? Because I always have this thing here, but I think it must just be like a little vein. I always see it in my videos and I think, what the hell is that? Looks like there's something under there. Gonna run a little bit around my forehead as well. A smaller brush and lightly contour my nose. I just want to look snatched, you know? Sometimes you feel like just doing your makeup really well and like sitting and taking pictures for ages. It's kind of how I feel today, so there's a lot riding on this. Nice, nice, nice. Right, for blush, I've got this beautiful one from Physicians Formula. This is the shade Mauvey Matte. I thought it'd be quite nice for this look where it's slightly cooler tone, where you've got like the mauve and the brown in there. I've actually never used this before, so we will see how it goes. I want that very light. Oh, it smells nice. Very fragranced. If you don't like fragranced blushes, which actually I don't think I've ever used one before. Got that almost like frosted 90s supermodel makeup, you know, like Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell. always had that like very frosted pink look. I love that. I think that's so nice. I actually think skin is done. I'm going to leave it like that. I want it really matte, really simple. I'm going to fill in my brows a little bit with the Rare Beauty brow pencil. Put them together once more. Like accidentally shaved the underneath of this brow off, you can probably see. The brow pencil and just like really define along that line only to get that really sharp. There we go. So it just like intensifies that shape a little bit. A small brush. This isn't really the right brush. I actually need like a small flat one, but I don't seem to have any of those, weirdly. So I'm going to take that Kylie Cosmetics concealer, just carve out underneath. Oh my god, this is so 2016 of me. I kind of miss those times, you know, if I could just live a week in Drake Controller Summer, I feel like it would reset me, you know. I'm going to carve my brows out. I want everyone to heavily Instagram filter their pictures again. It was simpler times. I feel like we're like one TikTok away from the resurgence of that time. Let's just buff that out with that little sponge. I feel like I've got so much eyelid space to play with now. This is great. Going into the palette, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. I'm just going to do something and hope for the best. I'm going to start off with Snow, this bright white. I'm going to pat that right underneath the brow. I want that really, really bright underbrow look. Just to get a really bright base to start with. Whenever I start an eye look, I normally just pick, am I going to start light or dark? So if I go smoky eye, I'll normally start dark and blend out. Like this, I think it makes sense to just start light and then build your tones on top. I always feel like that helps when you just don't know where to start. Just pick light or dark. And then going with Marble, it's like a, almost slightly more of like a greyish kind of colour. And I'm going to start buffing that into the crease. Just get in right in there. Feels so weird seeing these tones on my eyes. Like I literally don't know the last time I did like a grey eye. Every time I do it, I think I should definitely do this more, and then I never do it. And just kind of lightly smoking that out. Nice little base to start with. I'm gonna take a slightly smaller brush and a darker grey. I'm sorry, I can't be bothered to keep lifting this palette up. It's so massive. Suede. It's almost like got that like purple tinge to it. You know when it's grey but it's kind of purple? Is that mauve? Is that what mauve means? Maybe. And I'm just gonna like really sit that in that crease. To get a little wing shape. I've zoomed you in a little bit more just so you can see really close up. I'm going to take that white and go right in that inner corner. I want that real grey white pop. I'm just going to try that white on my finger and just see if I get any extra pigment from it. Not the most pigmented white I've ever used, but I really don't know whether to keep it matte or go in with a bit of shimmer. Let's try it. Okay, there's a shade called Fairy, which is like a silvery shimmer, and I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. It's actually quite a subtle shimmer, which is nice. I'm going to take the shade Tattoo, which is just super deep black, on a little brush, and I'm going to create a little, and I'm going to press that lightly the whole way along. I feel like I always hate my makeup at this point. This is always the point that I just want to give up, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it. And then as soon as I get to the end, and I like, once I get the lip on, I feel like it makes such a difference. You take the Trini London liner in black. This is so nice. It's really, really black. And I'm going to tight line top and bottom. That's always the moment that it just like falls into place for me. Got some like fallout here, but I'm choosing to ignore that. Take the Max Factor 2-in-1 Lash Wow Mascara. I really like this. It's got like a really nice spiky brush. Just building up some nice spiky lashes. And just getting right in those inner corners. I want to make sure all the lashes are coated. Okay, I'm going to go in with a little bit of that NARS concealer again. Just where I've got a few bits of fallout, annoyingly. Probably should have done my eyes first, but I just never do that. I don't know why. It never even crosses my mind. It's not too bad, so it should be salvageable. So I'm going to use the Makeup Forever 506. It's quite a cool toned brown. Let's buff that in. And then I was thinking this gloss would be quite cute over the top. This is the Max Factor 2000 Calorie in Cotton Candy. It's like a really light sheer gloss. I was going to do a matte lip, but I mean, we didn't even stick with the matte. Oh, that's so nice. I love that lip. Okay, maybe I do like it. Maybe I was being dramatic. I think I was. I think it's just because that literally does not look like my face. You know, when someone else does your makeup and you're like, who is that? I'm just going to go in with that grey and just sort of like buff it a little higher. Yeah, I feel like I prefer that. Maybe that was it. It's all this new eyelid space, you know, I don't know what to do with it. The fragrance I'm wearing today is the new one from Moncler. I'm obsessed with this. It literally arrived this morning, but I already know I'm gonna wear this so much. I actually googled what the notes were in it because I was like, what is that smell? And it's like pear, sandalwood, peony. So it's like quite fruity, very rich, summery scent. I'm just obsessed with that, and I love the bottle. That's so nice. That is fragrance of the day. I think we are finished. That is the finished look for today's video. Hope you enjoyed something a bit different. As always, all the products that I've mentioned will be linked in the description box down below. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I will see you all very soon. Love you.